So, this is the engine bay of a 1966 Chevelle. Looks like a good motor and a good car, right? But there is one thing I'm not totally sold on with the paint job. As you can tell, they painted the engine bay to match the rest of the car. But look what happened at the VIN label and the engine bay. It's been painted over the same color as the car. And for what it's worth, I have seen instances of this on other classic Chevys, where you can tell they did some work and ended up painting over the VIN. Sometimes when they repaint the engine bay black, or paint it black, it's less noticeable than others, but I don't know. A lot of people may think this isn't that big a deal. Obviously, these were stamped labels where you could see the numbers. They weren't paper labels, obviously, but I don't know. I just don't think it's a good practice. I think the painter should make sure they mask over the VIN and don't paint over it. I wouldn't think it'd be that big of a deal with all the other prep work involved anyway. I think in this particular case, especially on this blue Chevelle, painting over those numbers made the label much harder to read. And that isn't a good thing. On 1966 and 1967 Chevelles, the first three numbers on the VIN for the SS edition were always 138. And that significantly impacts the value of the car, whether or not it was an original SS. So nothing should be done to the label that might make it harder to read, in my humble opinion. Maybe there are a lot of classic vehicle owners that don't really worry about whether or not the VIN gets painted over, but I would not want the VIN painted over on my classic Chevy or any other car, frankly. And I guess I would, if I was paying somebody to restore one of these cars, I would mention it to the builder that I didn't want it painted over, because apparently it's something you ought to mention. Anyway, that's my thoughts on it. Let me know what y'all think in the comments below. Don't want to rag on anybody too hard, but yeah, I would prefer the VINs on these cars just be left as is. Thanks for watching.